Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. Where are we here? Let's see if this YouTube page kicks in. I think it will. It should. Kevin does such an awesome job here. There it is. Where are we here? Are you live? Let's see if this YouTube page kicks in. All right, cool. So YouTube's up and running, and away we go. Did a solo session with the community here today. Long rant about, I don't know, philosophy. The average wind speed of a swallow. Really all depends on whether it's a North American swallow or a European swallow. Kind of summer dog days, and I do see that the banksters are kind of messing around with the currency markets right now. US dollar's in a bit of a free fall as they sort of reprice the market. I'm just worried that people are being lulled into a false, almost a trap here. It's the end of the summer. I think Mr. Kramer about a week or two ago said that the market prognosticators that he likes to follow suggest end of the month for some sort of pivot here. Our breadth indicator seems to sort of concur with that kind of thinking, and I had a cool conversation with the community today about using this to time your purchases and when to expect sort of the easy money in the market to be made versus the tough slogging. And I get the impression now the market is in the tough slogging part. And should we actually get overbought on the slow, we might actually set up another sell signal here. I do see just in the short term, they're taking stocks down here a bit. And in a weird sort of way, I kind of think this is the same sort of violently flat kind of market state. Gold, of course, enjoying its insane parabolic run. Interesting to see the Japanese yen finally catching a bid with all the rest of the currencies against the US dollar. And, this sort of the final nail in the coffin is driving the US dollar down appreciably here today. So your guys' grid, I know this looks awfully messy, but it's a fun conversation. Ironically enough, the botters are like, I don't give a shit about your crazy bigger fractals, Brian. I'm short, and I'm just kicking ass. We had move stop to trailing level hit yesterday, so in essence, these people should not lose money here now. Full disclosure, it wasn't a trade I was thinking. I thought we were going to pivot through here and head back up, but who cares what Brian thinks? I don't see any reason, we just play connect the dots here. All this is this trend line and then this trend line. Or I guess, this key point right there. There to there, down into here. So interesting how this trend line lost. You can see there was a bit of a battle there. Not much, but a bit. Really, this is wide open air here. It's a bit scary. Because also, too, what I'm noticing is there's such a move away from the U.S. right now that it's being reflected in stocks. Stocks, of course, were I think they were kind of boosted a bit with this sort of honeymoon that the market's in with this crazy Tesla guy. As well, too, general consensus that, hey, that crisis was it, and now it's back to business, back to usual. And one of the biggest technology companies, Intel, came out and said, any plans for sort of future growth and new semiconductor chips coming out of us? No. And also, too, what I noticed is something unique to Intel in that in the past, of course, they produced and manufactured all their own chips. And they're actually saying that they're going to have to outsource that production to some third party. So what the hell is Intel now? Anyway, point here is, I'm watching a bunch of bear proxies on the stock market. I have actually stocks that I've been selling. I'm not impressed with my broker right now. So, ironically enough, I'm taking 100% profits on some trades that I just don't really need to be in. So I banged out one full 100% profit. My broker here in Canada is just being an absolute pain in the ass, and I don't like that. That's not a good sign. Something's not doesn't smell right. And I almost get the feeling like this is actually a coordinated effort to try and prevent retail from selling into this peak, because I got a funny feeling this fall we might actually see some of these financial institutions go under. Um, Forbearance is looming over the market. Following, sort of the first shutdown, it's understandable, 3 months, 90 days, 6 months, 180 days. Though all those windows are closing here in like September and October. So what does that mean? Not only for, the public, I mean, gee whiz, might have like 20 million people out on the streets. But also too these financial institutions, because keep in mind, remember they're holding a lot of this paper. So I'm a little concerned. I could see a very challenging fall. Let's put it that way. Watching all these bear ETFs closely. Getting lots of bullish divergence signals. Not quite ready to pull the trigger on the buy side just yet. But you can see all of these things. And again, thinking that sort of market's going to peak into the end of the month. Over the next week or two, if we start seeing big fat W's coming in across the board here, it wouldn't surprise me at all. And also too, all you gold bugs, you better keep a close eye on your gold. If this bearish ETF starts Wing out here, well, get ready. There's probably a correction coming there too. We'll keep an eye on this funny oil. What a great analogy of a trader's life. Don't have an ego, just trade your setups, rinse and repeat, day in, day out. I find it fascinating that we finally have come up basically into this gap, but you'll notice that the gap hasn't been filled in yet by a candle body. I personally prefer to have the candle bodies fill in to know that this gap is done. I suppose, again, sort of same thing as I said there a moment ago. If we can get maybe like a nice M or something over the coming week, I might start drawing reload zones off of whatever this low is, and we'll just keep hunting for levels, candle body levels for trade location. We'll just keep an eye on it. Nothing to do today, and down day, kind of a doji day too, but we did make a new low, so there's no hurry to do anything. This thing might just crap right out and just leave us behind, but, it's trader's life. Risk on, risk off. Again, this is kind of interesting conversation. Seeing the way that the U.S. dollar is really tanking in earnest, and seeing both stocks and commodities basically coming off here. Interesting, we even have bonds are actually down. I don't know whether they're down on the day or whether they just... No, okay, so they're still showing an up day here. Whoops. How do I get that line? Yeah, there we are. So we're up 3 ticks. Woohoo! Big bull market. Considering the way the stocks are coming off, I would have thought bonds would have done better here. But, I think this is like sort of like wholesale. We're selling everything that's US dollar denominated today. That in itself might be sort of a tell that we're getting closer to the end than the beginning, because all these markets are not acting the way that they normally do. We're in a very herky-jerky market state here, no doubt about it. Interestingly enough, this market, the gold market, continues to press higher, and we kind of joked about it on the daily brief today. I mean, the irony of it all is this bot, you could probably teach a course off of trading this silly bot here, the way that this setup has gone. We made another new high here today, so we've had the move stop to trailing level hit yesterday. And what's really interesting, actually, is if you pull up a chart of the euro, it's almost exactly the same pattern working. It's quite remarkable. And it had its move stop to trailing level hit today. Remember, we had the US dollar index. It had its move stop to trailing on the short trade working. So, there's certainly no reason to step in front of this today. Again, thinking end of month, well, there's nothing really pressing today that get us to act. And I'm actually thinking maybe we're going to get some sort of blow off top here. Big fat round numbers, psychological, all that kind of talk. And all the currencies, they're all supporting this move now. So crazy gold just keeps on keeping on. All you gold bugs, Jupiter Saturn cross into I think it's like November is the official event. That's probably where your gold cycle finishes. Be really interesting, because I run an education program, and I teach in the education program the idea of fear versus greed cycles. And what are the sort of market proxies for a fear-greed cycle? It's going to be really interesting to see. This is the classic Dow Gold Ratio. And in essence, in simplest terms, how many ounces of gold does it take to buy one Dow Jones Industrial Unit? And at the top of the dot-com boom, it took a lot of gold to buy one Dow Jones Industrial Unit. And then in the 1980 gold peak, it took almost no. In fact, it took 1 ounce of gold to buy the Dow Jones Industrial Unit. So the big conjecture was, why did this bottom here and not here? And I think the answer is this fun situation where this is the Dow Gold Ratio, this is the Dow Gold Bitcoin Ratio. Actually, I think we've done this math wrong here. What I wanted to do was I wanted to add gold and Bitcoin and divide it by Dow, but I don't think that math operator is going to work that way. I wonder, do you have to put it in? Kevin, do you know, do you have to put this in brackets? I wonder how this works. I mean, ideally, I'd like to go bracket, but I don't know if that's going to work or not. Let's see. Survey says, hey, we got something. Well, that's good. I have no idea what. Maybe I'll leave this conversation for today because I don't think this is helpful for you guys. Yeah. I'm not quite sure why I didn't have that symbol corrected before, but I don't think this is usable. Let's see. Do we get anything to work with here? Actually, you know what? For the free video, this is kind of a waste of time. Sorry, everybody. Yeah. Well, so this was the peak that I was looking for. Let's see if we can see this. Yeah, there we go. So, unfortunately, trying to do gold and Bitcoin together and measured against the Dow, going to be really difficult. But it's interesting, like this has been my conjecture, is that this cycle actually was supposed to come to an end here in Q4 2017, roughly. And of course, that's where our Bitcoin peak is. Now, I wonder how deep they can take this gold rally. Like how far it can run, and whether we can actually test this low. But really, the pivot, if we incorporate Bitcoin into this conversation, is this level right here. And you can see that over the next 6-8 months, could we get a nice serious test of that level? Sure, it wouldn't be shocking. If gold and Bitcoin take off together, which I have a hard time seeing. And if the stock market really falls apart, gold's going to have a really hard time rallying. But my hunch is that we are at our cycle pivot here. And this is a study including Bitcoin as a store of value, as a, what do I call it? Flight to safety kind of proxy. So, all right, kind of a tangent there. Sorry, didn't mean to take you off in another direction. Interesting how our put-call ratio is trying to W again. The VIX index has come back down against its lows, sort of banging around in a range that we kind of thought would happen. If anything, I wouldn't mind this Wing out here over the next week or two, and then we can look for a big pop. Got a little bit of a fail there on the Dow transports. This is Dow theory. So if the transports had gone through that low, 172.70, 172.53, then that actually is a bit of a Dow theory sell signal where the Dow went to new highs, transports did not, and the transports are broken down. So there's a big disconnect here. So writing's on the wall, folks. I mean, you can start to see that, the violently flat market state has played itself out, and now we're sort of heading into the end of the summer. And they don't call it the fall for nothing. Anyway, back to our sort of story here. So we took a look at the gold and the silver. Again, same sort of thing. That junior market hasn't really broken out in earnest here, just bumping up along the top end of its range. Sort of the same thing as the stock market generally. But risky. I mean, you can see where reload zones are here, even on a spread basis. I actually would like to see some fear and some pain in the junior stocks. Excuse me. So, individual names. Don't think it should surprise anybody. Of course, I follow my plan. So, as a result, when my plan tells me to act, I have to act. But I had a nice breakout here on this little junior VCIM name. It ran up top, and a chaos level actually off of this W painted 22.5 cents as a target. So, got a little bit greedy here. What the hell, man? I'm a capitalist. Aren't capitalists by nature all greedy bastards? So, if anything, if I wasn't greedy, you'd probably say, well, what the hell, Brian? You kind of let me down here. But it's kind of a fun story, wasting a bit of time here. Sorry, everyone. But did up a chaos level off of this fractal, and it painted 22.5 as a target. And kind of a fun experiment. Like sell half on a double, I should have let half of it go at 19, right? Or, 19. 2 times 9.5. But I thought, what the hell? It was a fun experiment. Do you believe in this chaos theory? And if you do, then you might as well put your money where your mouth is. So I put my order in at 22.5, and it was kind of interesting. You could actually see the market makers were like, fuck, we do not want to give this bastard a fill up there. And they goaded me up, and I could see my offer, and then they backed it away, and they stacked up huge offers to try and freak me out. And I was just like, I'm not really in a hurry here, so I'll just work the order. And sure enough here, boink, I got my fill here today. Merry Christmas. Way to go. So I got a little bit more than a double. Extra treat. But what a great analogy of just a very simple stock model that we teach. It was taught to me by an old VSC floor broker. And it produces just the prettiest trades. I mean, you could almost like print that out and frame it. It's so handsome. So, and this is basically what I do. Just rinse and repeat. Just keep doing the same shit over and 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 over. So, obviously I'm a happy camper today. Rang the register. And just business as usual. Obviously don't chase. If this is in the gold sector, so if anything, perfect analogy. At the end of the move, all the shit and all the little stuff all starts to move up. So, better ring the register when they give you the opportunity. Heading on over to the crypto market and corn in particular. We've been talking about this a while, kind of thinking the market wants to move up into reload short zones. Had our bull-bear battle lines the other day, which resolved bullishly. Mr. Bollinger was squawking about how he wanted to see follow-through after his Bollinger Brands breakout. I think on balance he probably got that. We're pointing higher here. I don't think the story, though, in crypto right now has anything to do with Bitcoin. I think the story right now is all about Ethereum. So if I understand correctly, and of course, the rising tide lifts all boats. If anything, it shouldn't surprise us that big stocks and crude are coming off, and Bitcoin's actually a little bit softer. If these risk assets start to really come off here, I'll fully expect this Bitcoin to come off as well. But like I said, the space right now is enamored with good old Ethereum. And a really interesting level here. I was sharing with the community through the daily brief. I mean, we have a lot of levels that are at play right now here at this level on Ethereum. So this ain't going to be an easy slog. Not only do we have, I think, 2 different harmonic patterns all sort of converging at this level. But we also have, previous market structure. I'm trying to find the chart here so I can show you guys. I went through exactly the same exercise in the daily brief. It took me like 5 minutes to find the chart, so sorry. Well, to hell with it. Okay, so point of the matter here is this was a harmonic up top against previous highs. Maybe 3 drives pattern. I found it fascinating that the market just ran up to this level and just stopped. Little suspicious. Having said that, the fundamental event window, if I understand correctly, is I think the 3rd of August. So that's basically right there. If that's the case, right, then to me this looks like a classic buy the rumor, sell the news. I don't know whether it makes any sense whatsoever to step in front of that fundamental event, and it's probably going to produce a bunch of euphoria. But what I'd also say too, and I said this yesterday, is I like the idea how they wash these lows, and now I think they're going to go wash these highs. So don't be surprised if we're up in here and gee whiz, they wash these highs and it comes right into another double top, the bastards. So, full disclosure, I did go and buy another December put right in here. So obviously I'm underwater on that. Certainly, I couldn't buy this. I just could not buy this. But, while this is happening, maybe it's something that maybe you bought off the bottom and you're spoon feeding the market. So way to go. I know there are some people like Julian is stacking sats, and he uses Ethereum as sort of his sat stacker while he's buying and selling gold and all that. And he's up to like hundreds and hundreds of Ethereums on the books. So as long as this keeps moving up, I suppose I got nothing to complain about. But this, especially we talked about stock market pivots. Now, big fundamental event window here. I think this is what's driving the crypto space right now in particular. Be careful here, people. Next couple weeks, but imagine there's going to be some violence through all around this. This might be fun just for kicks. Let's do a chaos level, say off of here. And what is this? Yeah, this is stamps. That's fine. Let's go here, up to here. And let's see where that tells us it wants to go. Chaos. Bang. Oh, hello. That's funny. So this is what I started talking about. Should we expect some chaos to come in at this level? Be careful here, everyone. I mean, unfortunately, old man Beamish Brian, boring, conservative, buy W's, it's impossible for me to come in and justify buying that. But anyway, that's the main driver, and so as a result, there are tons of coins that are all driving around this thing. I haven't seen anything for me personally that popped off a double here today. I mean, there's some great setups that are just working away. This Expanse, I talked about this at length recently. Just kicking it. But, no big sort of banging out double tweets to be said here today. But I thought it was interesting. It's kind of interesting. I got off a double on this Sky Gold. And Kevin was telling me, hey, I'm kicking ass in this Sky USD. Yeah, I mean, look at that chart. It's a pretty chart. So, I mean, it's probably a very typical sort of anecdote of the venture cap part of this market. I could show you at least 20 or 30 different altcoin charts that look almost identical to this. So, did you have the balls to step in and buy when it snows? And now that it's going, and of course, all the crypto kids are super happy. I like the idea of actually not even calling tops. You just simply place a sell to sell half of your whatever you got at double your purchase price and just keep doing that and just keep spoon feeding the market. Who knows where the hell this thing's gonna go? Man, man, man. Anyway, pretty good anecdote of the market and capitalism. I'm not really in the business of predicting the future. All I really want to do is just try and find W's at bottoms ends of their ranges, step in on and take a risk when most people won't. And then when the public comes in and starts getting euphoric about this stuff, I'm just spoon feeding the market. That's what I do. Rinse and repeat, day in, day out. Here's a perfect example of something that I just did here. And now I have a free position established and really carefree. So, I hope that was a bit of a help for you guys here today. Have yourselves a wonderful afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. All the best. And let's see, I'm going to throw a curveball here. The only thing left for Kevin to say at this point is...
Bye for now.
Oh, there he is. Oh, I cut him off too. I was just wondering whether you were still there or not.
Yeah, I was just on mute.
I couldn't hit that mute button fast enough. All right. Well, anyway, the only thing left for all of us at TRI to say is, and with 3, 2, 1, bye for now.
For now.
All right. Bye, everybody.